All right. Do you got anything you want to say first? I got a couple things, but you go ahead, Lloyd, if you want to go ahead and
Okay,
get
well, I'll
started.
just go ahead and start with the announcements. Well, you usually announced it or head off. This is the July the 19th networking and haves and wants session of the St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association. And I just want to remind everybody, we're just talking about it there when you came on about the lunch. August the 5th is their first Monday networking lunch, and the 1st of August comes around on the 5th. So we got a couple days. Someone was complaining to me at last Tuesday's meeting that, oh, can't you make it some other day? Because I flip my calendar over. Oh gosh, it's you know, it's the lunch is here. So you need to. This is a point where you need to use your electronic calendar on your smartphone and set for at least a 1 week advance notice of the lunch. So get it in there. August the 15th at Applebee's. It's right at the corner of it's on 270 and Olive Road. The address is 11950 Olive Boulevard, right there in Creve Coeur, Olive and 270. So get it on your calendars now at 11 o'clock, and we go to at least one. Sometimes I've been there later. If you got a big crowd and everybody get some good networking going on, you don't want to stop. So looking forward to seeing as many people as can get away during the day for lunch. And you don't have to come for, spend the whole time, whatever you come, if you come late, there'll still be somebody there at noon, like I said, noon through 1 o'clock. If you can't get ready right at 12, don't worry about it, or 11, don't worry about it. Come when you can. It definitely will be from 11 to 1, sometimes even later. Okay, and we're here every Friday with John, and we had really good meeting on Tuesday the 16th on communications with Nikki Stevens. She did a great job. She really held the audience. She went the full 90 minutes, and even though we're a small crowd, we gave us the whole load. So we appreciate her. Had a lot of good comments. In fact, we went till it was 9:45. Our janitor was flipping the lights on us because our lease really runs out at 9:30. So it was actually was closer to 10. So anyway, great meeting. If you were there, I'm sure you were glad you came. If you weren't, you missed out on a good presentation, and you can still find it on our website. Is that up yet, John? I didn't check this morning if the recording was up. I think I know you sent it over, and
I don't know. I haven't checked
okay, I
it.
didn't check either, but it will be if it's not there. It should be there shortly. And her whole presentation, she gave it to us, and it's posted on the website. If you're a member, you can go to the members resources document library under presentations, and you'll find it there on communications, improving your communications. So if you remember yet, you can, and you missed out on, that's a great, just to having her handout. It was a 12-page, she had all of her slides, all 12 slides right there on her presentation. So you're welcome to go in and download it from our website. Anyway, that's all I've got, John. You got some other things to get us started?
Yeah, and I just want to second that on Nikki's presentation. She had some really good insight stuff that was pretty advanced as far as communication skills go, verbiage, languaging, a lot of stuff. You could tell she's really good at what she does, and she's good at in fact, there was some things that if you weren't able to join us live, and I don't know why you wouldn't, but some people didn't. I'd go back and watch it, and I personally really liked the live version on YouTube. We streamed it live on YouTube, which that will be. I think I put a copy of that, also a link in the member site also. But that's really good with it had a great introduction from you, Lloyd, and I just explained it real well how she came and how we kind of met up, and I was very impressed. I mean, she was really good. So it's worth the two. And actually, 90 minutes. She went almost 2 hours, but it's definitely worth watching it. And one of the things I like on YouTube, and one of the things I do anyway, is I watch it like at 125 or 150% of what it normally is, so you can get through it a little quicker. So not that it needs to, and then you can also stop it to take notes. So, and if you're a member, you definitely go to the website, download her handout, because it was well worth it. I mean, so this is pretty advanced training. It's stuff that I paid a lot of money for years ago. The same kind of quality.
Corporations pay her big money to come. In fact, I was talking with her afterwards about what she had going on. Apparently she does an annual thing with the New York City Council. does a communications and seminar for them for the new council members coming in all the time. So every year she goes, and she's going up there in September, I think, to New York and spend a couple of days with the New York City Council, and then this agency that does her bookings for said, "Well, while you're in New York, you mind staying over a couple more days and doing a public seminar?" And she said, "Sure, great." So she's going to be spending like 4 days in New York City here in September. They do open ones to the public. This agency that does her scheduling, they booked since she agreed to it, they booked her in another plate, and then they invited a bunch of corporate folks, so they'll fill up another auditorium to hear her in September. So yeah, we're really blessed to have her here. She's located in St. Louis, so and she hadn't done a live presentation here in St. Louis for a while, so she was glad to present something right here at home. And if you missed it, yeah, like I said, you got some great recordings, and we got our whole presentation well worth going back and looking at.
All right, thanks. I got a few things actually. In fact, if you're taking notes, and I don't know why you wouldn't be, but anyway, mark your schedules for a couple of things coming up on August 20th. Our next main event, our next meeting, we're actually going to have Dale Sweet, the attorney here that's local in town. We're doing Missouri tax sales. And I know some of you guys know some of this stuff, some of you don't, but Missouri's kind of a complicated state. And I know we've done, Laura and I have done lots of things over the years with it, but we just got back from Gladstone. Some of you, I know we talked about that recently. They had the Missouri tax sale seminar there in Gladstone over by Kansas City. And what we've been able to do also is we were able to get it on this side of the state for next year. So one of the things that you'll definitely want to do if you're at all interested in finding out and also rubbing shoulders with some people that are really into this is the Missouri Tax Sales Seminar next year. This will be the 4th annual. We'll be right here in St. Louis. That's June 20th, 2025. In fact, if you want, send me a request. Just say, I want in, and send it to, I'll put my email address in there, my personal one there, because you want to get on this list. Because when I first signed up for it, Kathy Davis was one of the speakers, but when I first signed up for it this year, it was full. And then they opened up because a couple of people couldn't make it. But this is for attorneys, collectors, actual government employees are at this. I mean, I've met a couple of people that I've dealt business with over the years that I never met in person. Even the collector from St. Charles County, what's her name? Michelle McBride. She was one of the speakers. Kathy Davis, of course, there's several attorneys. Scott Walter back puts this on every year, and it's going to be at the St. Louis area real estate building, STLREIA, where we used to meet. So you want to definitely get on the waiting list. So send me a request to do that, and I'll make sure you get on there, because these usually sell out. If you're an attorney, there's several attorneys there. There's legislatures, there's collectors, government employees. If you're an attorney, you'll get I think that, I don't know what exactly they call them, but they're CE credits, like continuing education. Attorneys have to pay a little bit more. Okay. They're I think a couple $100 for the day. It's a full day seminar. Government employees are no cost. And then us, like professionals or investors, it was about like $100. That includes lunch. It gives you all the handouts, all the stuff. We don't have to travel next year for us, though, personally. So you definitely want to get on, definitely get on there. Make sure you get it as soon as he opens it up to pay for it. Just go ahead and pay the $100, $90 or whatever it is, and get on there. And in fact, you could even sell your spot down the road. So there's always a list. And I know we were able to secure that now, so which I was really happy to do. We had to do a little bit, pull some strings to get to that, but we definitely have it for next year. So put that on your calendar. That's June 20th, 2025. I know it seems like a long way off, but as fast as everything goes, it'll be here before we know it.
Before we know it. And kudos to you, John, for helping arrange that. So yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, and so that's, but anyway, that kind of goes right with our August 20th meeting at the Moolah Shrine Center. So you definitely want to be there for that, because Dale is one that he was one of the presenters, him and Lena, the gal that works in his office, and they had a really, really good presentation. In fact, we got their slides, and I'm hoping he'll share some of that kind of stuff, because The quiet titles is something a lot of people don't understand how they work. In fact, tax sales gets a little complicated. When you buy something at the tax sale, you don't just necessarily get a deed free and clear. It's a longer process, and I won't get into all the details right now because we are a deed and a certificate state both. I mean, and a lien state both. I mean, so that's just something you kind of got to know how that works. It's first, second, third year tax sales. Dale is one of the local experts, and he does the quiet titles here in our area. So that's something you want to make sure you mark your calendar for that, because that goes right along with the tax sales in Missouri, which is the fourth Monday in August. So this will be on the Tuesday right before the fourth Monday, which works out perfectly, which would be the 26th this year. I personally have never been to a tax sale, but I bought thousands of properties from the over the counter from the different agencies. So this is a little different process, actually quite a bit process, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on with that. So we're going to get some details. So those two things kind of go with each other. Then the other thing, you want to mark your calendar for the 17th of September. We have the cost segregation. I don't know, you might have remembered that back a few years ago. They did an online presentation for us, but they work directly with investors in particular, but in fact, if you're a CPA too, you'll get CE credits for that with no charge, because they're coming in from Utah. And there's a couple of new things that they're going to go over with. It's stuff that we all do as investors, and I don't understand these things that much. I've been talking to Hunter this week, and they're going to actually have they're actually decided to come on in. They were originally going to do a presentation for us today online, but we just decided in fact, it was mainly their idea, and I'm really glad, because they're going to come in on their dime and do a presentation for us. If you're a CPA or you know any CPAs, you'll actually get credits for this, your CE continuing education credits. But they're going to talk about a couple of things that directly affects us. And one is, and again, I don't know the details on this. We're going to find out. We'll have more in the newsletter as we come up with it. But the 179D energy deduction. Okay, I'm not really sure how that affects us, but it affects investors directly. And then the other one's the 45L energy credit. So one's a deductions and one's a credit. That's for certain things that we all kind of do anyway when we're updating our properties, and we'll find out those details. So I just want to point those out, but they'll be here on September 17th. Cost Segregation is the name of the company, in case you want to go look up them earlier, but it's a nationwide company. They did a presentation for us, and I know that's in the member section, but that goes back probably 3 years ago.
Yeah, in a few years.
Something like that. So anyway, so that's a couple of things. Another thing, and it looks like it's going to be online. Kimberly Hicks from the state of Missouri. I met her at the Small Business Expo back, I think it was March or April. Whenever they had it, might have been May this year. I don't know. They have it twice a year, and they've adjusted it. The next one will be in November. But they're doing a presentation just strictly for us, exclusively for us. I guess I should say anybody's invited, but on women and minority business owners. And there's some things that you actually get, and some things that you'll get from the state that you kind of got to know how to get in there. They also have, and this is at no cost for you, but just because you're a member, you'll be able to get in with these people and find out some of the stuff. And they have a lot of resources that they will directly give to us. So that's something. Kimberly Hicks, that's from the state of Missouri, and that'll be on August 6th is what we tentatively have. Of course, we'll have more information about that real soon. I'm waiting to hear back from her on that. So let's see. I just got a couple more things, and then we'll get started here. Let's see here. Well, a couple of things anyway. If you one of the things I just want to put a plug out for Preferred Land Title in Farmington. We had them put together our lien waiver and owner's affidavit after the people were done building our place out here. And they put that together and actually did a lot of work, but they did not charge us anything. When we went in there to get our part notarized the other day, they said, no charge. We just want you to keep us in mind. And I said, well, they wouldn't even let me buy them lunch. I pulled out a couple of 20s, tried to buy them lunch. They wouldn't even take the money. So if you do anything in St. Francis County, or actually they cover, I think 3 counties altogether, but Preferred Land Title, keep those guys in mind, or you can always reach out to me and I'll hook you up with them. But I just wanted to put a plug in for them, because there's not too many title companies or anybody in particular that will do that much work for you, because it took them a couple days to get the stuff together, do the research that we needed, and then they actually the builder actually showed up at their office. They notarized that, took care of it all for us, and didn't charge us one penny. So that's highly unusual in today's world, at least my experience anyway. Other things, something kind of weird that happened is we have a house in Park Hills, and I just happened to find this out by kind of well, I got an email from Zillow, and I wanted to look this up just to see what was there anyway. But I have a house in Park Hills that somebody. Here's what happened actually. It was listed on the MLS. Well, I hadn't talked to anybody about that, and it just showed a price reduction a week later. So I called up the broker. And I said, well, who gave you the authority to do this? And he wouldn't give me much information about it. So I dug into it a little bit more. Somebody went and set up a shell corporation in Nevada. And the reason people use Nevada corporations, you might have been through some of the trainings. A lot of people are doing this kind of stuff over the last few years, is for anonymity, because you cannot find out who owns it. They opened a company with my name, Heartland Hideaways LLC, which is the only company, and this was the only company in the country, because we did a lot of research years ago when I had Bernie Klippel, the attorney, set this up for me. I was real careful. We had, went through, made sure nobody else had the name. Well, somebody else set up a shell company, then contacted a broker out of Cadet, Missouri, which was a little ways away, to put it up for sale on the MLS. So they were trying to sell my property that they didn't have any authority to do. But when he did the research, the broker, they found the company in Nevada, because that's what the guy gave him. And it's a whole big scam. I don't know if this is something new they're doing. Nobody's heard about it. I'm still waiting to hear back from the Attorney General. And there's some other things. I'll kind of let you know how the story goes as it unfolds, because now the broker's in on it. With us, he was, because he was kind of being scammed too. And well, he said, and what it boils down to is, if they don't show up at the title company, a lot of times they'll wire it. But if they wire the funds, because a lot of people do stuff out of state, and that's not unusual. That's why it went flags. But if they wire the money, they'll know who did it. But if they just send a check and they mail it to the address in Nevada, the guy could actually cash it and then move on. And once the check's cashed, you don't know what's what. So very interesting stuff. So I'll kind of let you know as that kind of unfolds. It's funny now. It was not funny when I first found it on Monday when I seen this. I was pretty mad about it, and I called up the guy, and he didn't want to give me any information. Well, we dug into it quite a bit. So I don't want to tell you what I'm doing with it now, because I've gotten some advice from attorneys, and we're dealing with the Attorney General. But I'll let you know when it's all said and done what happens with this thing. So that was kind of an interesting thing that happened. So anyway, one more thing, and then we'll get started here. I am working on a project it's actually for landlords, through landlords. So if you're interested in sharing any information, feel free to do so. What I'm looking for is your worst situation you ever had as a landlord and your best situation. So you don't have to do anything big. Just if you want to give me a couple sentences or even talk to me about it, I'd be happy to talk to you. But we're working on a project right now, and I'd just like to know your stories. That's all I'm looking for, is the stories of your very best and your very worst. So it's something that's going to help us all out in the long run. I think that's all I got. That's a mouthful, but I just wanted to tell you guys all about some of that stuff. So let's see here. We got to get to our disclaimer, and I've got it. Let me see here. Laura is with the cleaning lady, so let me share what I got here, and then we'll get started. There we are.
Welcome, everyone. First, I'd like to do a bit of housekeeping. Feel free to unmute yourself when it's your...
Wait a minute. I don't think you can see that. Let's see. Let me get the right one here. There we are. Let's try that. There we go. Let's try.
Your turn to speak. Please be mindful of everyone else by muting yourself while others are speaking. You're welcome to put any contact information that you want to share into the chat. We meet here to share deals, look for deals and solutions we have in need with our real estate. We are not your financial advisors, attorney, or accountants. We do not endorse or recommend any specific solutions or contractors here. You're advised to do your own due diligence to your own satisfaction before you invest. The first Friday of each month is Ask the Attorney with Ms. Catherine Davis. Our meetings are typically recorded, so only share what you want others to know.
Thank you, virtual Laura. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, go ahead and you get us going, Lloyd, if you want to.
Yeah, I was just looking in the chat. I'll repeat again, Cipriano just left a note. Apparently he came in a little late. He wanted to know where we could find the presentation or the video on communications from Tuesday. It will, if it's not there already, it will be under if you're a member, you have to log in with your ID or your email that you registered with. There'll be a button at the top that says Members Resources. You click on that, and then under that there's recorded meetings and presentations, and it'll be under there. It should be at the top. I think they're in chronological order, so it's the latest one, so it should be at the top. And then her actual slide presentation, you can download the PowerPoint there on the same Members Resource, only it's Document Library and then Presentations. There's two other under, after you pull up Members Resources, two other Document Library and then Presentations, and you'll find it there under Communications. So those are both there for our members to download and then view the presentation. So yeah,
thank you, Lloyd. I just found it. I
okay,
appreciate it.
okay, good, okay.
I don't see what I'm looking for.
Okay, and Jay left a note there too. Jay, you want to tell us about what you do?
Yeah, Lloyd, thank you. I'm a private money broker. I work on fix and flips, fix and keeps, and refi reboots. I also do commercial and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I've been working on something for Blake Silverman, which is on here. Haven't been able to help him out though, or my interest rates are too high. But if you've got any need, any questions, give me a call. I'm at 314-513-1982, and my information is in the chat.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
Okay. What else has got anything for us today? Experience you were talking about, John. I've heard of people doing scams of filing, taking phony deeds down and filing them to get the properties put into their name. But it sounded like this was a new twist, and they've actually got a system now that you can sign up for at your. I signed up. I think I got the notice through the recorder of deeds here in St. Charles County, that you fill out a thing that, and we put your email on it, and any properties that are in your name, if there is a deed, any kind of deed transaction, you will get an email finding out about it. So if somebody tries to file a phony deed against one of your properties, you'll be notified right away. And fortunately, I've only been notified when I was actually doing a transfer, either a sale of one of my properties. I got notice. Oh, okay, good. It's working. The system's working. Whether it's you or somebody that's not you trying to sell your property, you get notified. So fortunately, that having that system out there has probably tamped down a lot of the efforts of the scammers, and so now they're, as John found out, changing their tactics.
Yeah, this was a little different because there's no way you would find out. It's nothing recorded until afterwards, and then it was like it came from my company. That's a new one. Nobody that I've talked to has heard of that one. So just be, I guess, every once in a while, go look at Zillow, see if your stuff's for sale.
Yeah,
this was pretty bold going to a broker. And they actually, because I seen the pictures too, and I'm like, these are recent because it's stuff that we did, and nobody had recent pictures except for me. I mean, Zillow had the ones from 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And so this was all brand new, of the inside being tore up and everything.
Really? They had
unusual
pictures that you did not put on Zillow?
I did not put them on there, and it wasn't even pictures I took, but they were very current pictures.
They were pictures of your property. I can see them posting pictures of somebody else's interior property that they had been in, and put it, oh my gosh,
It's a new one.
that
So
is.
I'll let you know how it plays out. I've got a strategy or technique we're kind of working on to see what we can do about it. Because, assuming what you could do is you can go to Nevada, and I don't know what the filing fee is, but here in Missouri, it's like $75 to set it up. And like I was talking to somebody at the collector's office down here in the county, and they said, well, 30, because they put it for 30,000, which should have been about 120 something or whatever. So, but a quick 30,000, you do that 10 times. And if there's no way to track it back, that's a
Yeah.
quick $300,000. And if it only costs you $75 a piece to do it, so one $75 thing would get you 10 companies all named the right way. And there's no red flags when the broker pulls it up, and they did all the work. He drove down, took the pictures, and got it listed, put it on there. So pretty new technique as far as what I've seen a lot of stuff in my day. And so I talked to a few attorneys and some other people in the government. Nobody's ever heard of this one. So I'll let you know how it comes out. It'd be very interesting to see how the story goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I thought I was covered myself by filling out the form to be notified, but yeah. You got to be on your toes. There's always somebody's trying to make an easy buck, no matter what it takes, and who they step on.
I just put the link for the live broadcast from Nikki from the other day in there, and I think the
Okay.
live one is better than the edited versions we put in there, which are still good. I mean, you still get the content, but this
Okay.
started right with the introduction from Lloyd. So
Okay.
I would recommend watching this one. I've watched it again myself because there's some really good stuff she shared with us.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I started watching it and then I got interrupted and I haven't gotten back there but yeah, because I didn't get a chance to take notes like I usually do because I was trying to keep the microphone going around. But no, very good. So who else has got something for us?
I can talk. So this
Sure,
is the first time me joining the call. So I'm the recent realtor and also trying to get into the invest as an investor into the single family homes. I have one that I'm renting now, planning on getting the second one. So this is the first year trying to get myself educated, see where the pitfalls are and see what happens.
Well, good. Well, glad to have you with us. This is if you're getting started, this is a good place to get started.
And I'm also a realtor. If anyone needs any help, I'm there, and I'll share my details as well.
Okay, you like to maybe get do a little work to get some experience for another investor? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sure.
No. So esta es la que compraron los.
Ok, no le enviaste.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Rico,
Y
do you have something?
luego del siding, del Angel Ridge, nomás es este correo electrónico, ¿verdad?
Tengo Rich.
Hey, Rico, you need to mute yourself unless you've got something you want to present to the rest of us. I think you accidentally, there you go. Thank you. Or John did.
Yeah, and Praveen, would you like to give your contact information?
Yeah. Sorry.
Verbally also for anybody that's watching the replay? I see you put it in the chat, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
great.
I did.
Thank you, so I can write it down. But if you don't mind doing that.
Yep. Yeah, I've put it in the chat. You want me to read it out or what?
Yes, please, because people watching the replay won't have access to the chat here.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, my email ID is KOLLA, B as in boy, number 4, U as in umbrella, @gmail.com. My phone number is 901-409-1821. And this is Praveen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, glad to have you with us here. So it's a good place. Yeah. As many Fridays as you can to come on. You'll get an education just by listening, or if you got a question, you get into something, you got a question you haven't run across before, a situation. I'm sure one of us has been there before and can give you some ideas. Like I said in the disclaimer, we're not your attorney or your accountant,
Right.
but if you want some ideas what to do, we can load you up with of ideas what's worked for us in the past.
Yep. Glad to meet you all. Yep.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Well, I have a quick question. This is Cipriano.
Go ahead.
I live in a 4-family unit, and it's getting ready to be sold for the 3rd time since I've lived here. I've been living here for I think 5 years, and I guess this neighborhood is a hot spot. But
Must
had
be.
had I known it would be sold so many times, I would have bought it. I didn't know that the pandemic would happen like this, so everything just escalated in price. But anyway, in the recent building inspection that the potential owner performed, they did a mold scan. There was some type of machinery, like a little box on top of a
Yeah.
tripod, and I've never seen that before. Is that a typical thing that you see? And
Did they set it up in your apartment?
they set it up in the apartment, like in the living room, and he said it was there to scan for mold.
For mold? Now, I know they've had, what's it, radon. They got a little box, but they usually put it on the lower level if you're in like, I don't know, are you a lower level or a basement apartment or something?
On this upper level.
Upper level, okay. No, that wouldn't be for radon.
No, it
So,
was, yeah, and I was confused.
Okay.
I didn't ask many questions, but I was getting ready to leave the apartment so that they could look at the whole building, but I didn't know if that's something you've seen before.
I
If
don't know.
that's
Anybody else have any experience with, is there I didn't know they could do I suppose they do have methods for confirming mold other than just seeing it visually. Anybody else had an experience with that? Have you been offered by your inspector? Most home inspectors these days, when you're doing a building inspection, they'll offer a radon. They also do radon. At least my building inspector does.
Yeah, they did radon in the basement. They checked all the windows, they did the whole thing.
Okay.
I've never seen that before, and I should have took his card, but
Mhm.
I didn't do that. Anyway, but yeah, I'm still looking for a 4-family to buy. I'm not looking like I used to. So if I see something, I might pursue it, but right now I'm just renting, and hopefully the market changes and I can find a 4-family. But if anyone knows where to find something like that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then finally, just any services, I'm also an architect, so I could assist anyone with help on residential or commercial. I'm just trying to get back into it. I work at an engineering company, but I'm trying to get back into, helping real estate people. My number is 314-504-4809, and I'll put it in the chat. And then my good friend does cleaning services for real estate professionals for like move-ins and move-outs. She's really good and is based in Maryland Heights. Her name's Julie, and I'll put her number on the chat. Her number is 417-294-8330. But anyway, I enjoy this group, and thanks for the time.
Okay, thanks for coming on. Oh, looks like Blake had a question for you. Ask what neighborhood you're looking for this 4-family. I know Blake's looking for multifamilies, maybe.
Oh yeah, well, I was looking in the central corridor, but I think that's priced out. I've talked to several people about Overland because some of my family goes to school in Maryland Heights, so I'm trying to be close to Maryland Heights, but it's interesting. There's a stretch in Overland. I think it's near Midland where there are some storefront buildings, and so every once in a while I'll drive through there to see how the neighborhood is, scope it out. But I'm wondering, I'm hoping that U City kind of like merges west to Maryland Heights to the other side. It just feels like it could be a good area in the future, but I'm looking in Overland at the moment in U City.
Okay. Yeah, I know we've had people that have rentals in Overland, and it seems to be a pretty good rental area. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right. But those are the areas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Who wants to be next? What you got?
I want to check if what you guys are observing in the market. Do you think the market is cooling down a little bit, from the pricing that happened in the COVID timeframe, or what is your observations and thoughts?
Oh, they say things seem to be settling down a little bit. I don't know if they're really cooling off too much until we get some more inventory on the market or interest rates go down. That seems to be holding back at least um, single families.
Yeah.
Because anybody that wants to sell their house, they're gonna have to have a replacement, and they could get a good price for it, but then they have to pay a good price for a replacement, and then the interest rates, and everybody's got a low interest rate loan as sitting still right now to hanging on to their mortgages they've got. They
Yeah.
got a fixed rate mortgage. No one have to go out and shopping for a new mortgage if they buy another place. So that's what's keeping the inventory down, I think. But I don't know. Anybody else? You have any? I don't see anybody that I know is a realtor on here. Could probably give us some statistics about that. But
Yeah, from what I've been observing is it's a little better than a few months back. Inventory is sitting on for a bit, from what I'm seeing in the stats, but wanted to check if others have an opinion.
yeah, and I've noticed out here, I'm in the St. Charles County and St. Charles City in particular. I'm noticing there seems to be a few more for sale signs going up in areas that in my farming area where I live in, my rentals are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, overall inventory is still low comparatively, but with the inventory that we have, they are sitting for a bit of time compared to a few months before. Yeah.
well, yeah, and they want a good price for them because that's what they've seen.
Right.
But it's taking a little longer to get that kind of price, and then with that, longer things sit on the market. That's what when prices start to tend
Yep.
down, people start if a seller really has to sell, they'll start dropping their price to get it done.
Yep.
Okay, anybody other I'm gonna write down Cipriano's phone number in case I need some architectural services, because I think the architect I used to work with is probably retired by now. He was my age. So I'm not sure he's keeping up his certificate, so I'm taking your
Oh,
number down.
yeah, anytime I'm eligible to, just come by and help, just
Mhm.
walk through a building if you want, and
Okay.
you know,
Now, do you have are you licensed in Missouri?
yes, I'm licensed in
Okay.
Missouri and been licensed for, I don't know, 8 years, 9 years.
Okay.
And yeah, I live in Clayton area, so I'm pretty close to everyone. Well, I'm centrally located.
You're
I mean,
centrally located, put it
yeah.
that way. Yeah, that's why we like to keep our meeting place centrally located, and right now we're in Creve Coeur.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and so anytime if anyone needs help or just bounce ideas or anything, yeah, feel free to give me a call. No problem.
Oh, okay. Tiffany put something on. She put a link to I guess this is a bio pump that maybe she put a link there for you to take a look at, asking you, is this what your the device in your apartment?
Yes, that's
Yes,
it.
that was it. Okay, so I guess that was, you can probably get the description there. I didn't click on a link, but
So what is that?
she calls it a Zephron bio pumps and a stand. So, and I'm
Aerosol.
assuming there's bacteria or a form of biological.
Oh, mold
So,
sampling
mold
accessories. Okay.
for mold sampling. Yeah, makes sense.
Interesting. Thank you.
They've got a air tester for it now, just like they have a
Huh.
a
Interesting.
tester.
It's
for
only
a-
$45.99, and they've got 9 in stock. So
There you go.
one,
You can actually buy your own now.
9.
So we don't need to hire that building inspector to do our mold checks.
Oh, that's the stand, I think.
Yeah, oh, that's just the stand. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's the stand. Yeah, that's not.
No,
yeah,
I was
there
gonna
you
say, Usually those electronic boxes are pretty expensive if they're.
Yeah, I thought it was a good deal. No, that's all it is. They don't even show the unit. They got other stuff that's recommended to go with it, but
Mhm. That's just the accessories. Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they do make for radon. I've gone in and taken the two. You can get some free. Are they free or they sell them at some coupons? You can get. I don't know if you had ordered them online. Yeah, I think I ordered them online. And certain companies, you hang them up in your basement for 48 or I forget whatever it tells, and then you seal them up and mail it back to the company, and they run them through their equipment and give you a report on the radon. So
Learn something new
yeah.
every day. Thank you.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's good to know because that can affect your value of your property if you have radon or mold anywhere. Good to know that. So I've had my building sector does the radon, and I do it on the last, maybe not on the last one. I just bought a condo that was on the upper level, so I didn't worry about that. But yeah, the last house I bought, I had them do it, and you found out it was marginal. So it's good to know I negotiated a price to have it taken care of to get it remediated. So that saved me the cost of paying for that later. Okay. Anybody else got anything for us today?
I just got a quick question.
Sure. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah,
Hey.
hi. I got in kind of late. To that event for June 20th, right? I think you said something. If you're a government worker, is that event free? And if so, if not, what is the price of that event for June 20th?
He hasn't announced it yet, but it's probably going to be $100 for investors and professionals. It'll be free for government employees and probably around $200 if you're an attorney for the CE credits, if you're wanting continuing education. And personally, it's worth, and you get lunch too, which right there, that's got to be worth something because you don't have to go out. But just the networking alone was invaluable. For me, it was, and Laura, it was definitely worth driving and taking 2 days to go to the other part of the state just from the contacts alone, because now you've got, you know, people on a first name basis and they know you. I've already had several conversations. Plus, just even going out there, we were able to talk to Scott, and it was an introduction from Catherine Davis to maybe bring it back to this part of the state, which right there, that makes it all to where we can, you know, we can do it easily because there's a lot more, at least a lot more people we know here in St. Louis. But that's what I said, if you, I would definitely get on the waiting list. I put my, my contact in there, my email address. Send me an email because you can definitely move up higher on the list. Because I know what happened to us, Eric, the first time when we signed up, as soon as Catherine Davis told us she was going to be a speaker there, and it was full. They already had enough people signed up, but then once the dust settled a little bit, there was a couple openings. So Laura and I jumped right on there to get it, and then we made our reservations to go out to Gladstone's just north of Kansas City. But this time it's going to be here, so you don't have to worry about traveling or about the hotel or anything. So it's going to be a big deal, and it's the information is just, if you're interested at all in getting this kind of stuff, I don't know, is Praveen, it looks like he left, but this is, you know, it really doesn't not matter what the market does. A lot of us has been around for a while. We've seen the market go up and down. It doesn't make any difference. People always have stuff that goes on, personal things that go on. They have deaths, divorce, they have all kinds of stuff happens in their family, and they have to get rid of property. They, you know, sometimes they turn into landlords when they don't want to be. Just a lot of things like that, but it doesn't make any difference what interest rates or anything. There's always somebody that needs to do something. And plus, it's the last time I checked, we all still live in houses or some kind of dwellings. So I don't think housing is going to go anywhere soon where there's not going to be a good market. To me, personally, it's always a good market. You know, I've watched the stuff and I'm kind of amazed at what's happened the last couple of years in some of the neighborhoods. I mean, some of the places we used to get houses for $25,000 to $50,000. Now they're wanting 100,000 and you got to rehab it. And I personally wouldn't buy some of these houses in those neighborhoods anymore. In fact, some of them I've gotten free properties in, people gave to me. I wouldn't even take them anymore in some of the neighborhoods, where a few years ago I would take everything that was given to me for free. But as far as this goes, as the tax, I think, you know, Eric, and you're in some of our other groups too. You kind of know some about the tax sale process and how to buy some of this stuff. I think it's something everybody should know because Missouri's like a hidden gem as far as I'm concerned. There's 114 counties and there's 115 jurisdictions that actually have, that can sell properties, and every one of them is different. That's one reason I would mark your calendar and show up at our August meeting, because it's right before the August tax sale. And the August tax thing about Missouri is you have to be a resident or you have to have a legal representative to go to the tax sale, and you have to be there in person. You can't, you know, a couple of them are doing them online now, which is something we kind of learned about, but they all do things differently. And there's no really rules to follow other than the Jones-Munger Act is what we actually do everything from here in Missouri. And that goes back to like 42 or something like that. But everything develops every year. And when these people right here, you're going to be in the room with everybody that makes, you know, that are help creating legislation. And they're on the leading front of all the stuff going on in Missouri here. So, I mean, I would highly recommend getting your spot now before he announces it to the general public, because we have a little insight for you guys being here and being with our group. We have a little, you know, we're like a step ahead of everybody else. So if you're at all interested, send me an email. I'll get you on the list. Just put your contact information on here. Just say, I want in, and then I'll pay attention to it. Because I get a lot of emails because I've been around for a while, and just make sure I know it's you, and just say, hey, I seen you, you know, I want to get involved and get on the waiting list. And then as soon as he puts it out there, the official announcement, go ahead and enroll and go ahead and pay for it now. It's not very much money. It'll be probably around $100 for us regular investors. So it's not very much money. Plus, if you do things the way, you know, the way a lot of us do, it's tax deductible anyway. So
Okay.
that's
Yep.
something you want to keep in mind, but I would definitely get on the list.
Okay, I got a follow-up question on that too as well. 'Cause I know since you said government employees, are they considering anything for veterans?
No, not necessarily. You'd be a professional, Eric, where you're at. I would imagine.
Okay,
It's worth the $100 though. I'll tell you that. It's
Yeah,
well worth
okay.
it. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go get elected and become a collector somewhere, you can get or be an assistant. I think you
Yeah,
can get
that's
a
right.
job. There was some assistants there. There was also a lot of code enforcement people and stuff like that, which you find out a lot of stuff. I know Kathy Davis and Julie Anderson, who was her counterpart out of Kansas City. They did a really good thing because people have bought properties with renters in them. I personally got some, a house that somebody gave me years ago and still had the renter. I didn't know what to do with it, so I sold it the way it was. But there's a really good strategy or technique that they told us exactly how to do it. You go there and you talk to the people there that's been living there probably for free for who knows how long, you know, because if they weren't paying the taxes and you could buy it at the tax sale and actually own it, it's 5 years of back taxes. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there as far as that goes, but you go and you talk to them and get just a short-term thing, and then you can go ahead and have them, you can have them thrown out, or you might have a good tenant, who knows? You just do a short-term thing. So there's some really good things that you pick up at this. I picked up some stuff, you know, I've been around for a while. I picked up some stuff that I never knew in the 25 plus years I've been investing in tax properties. So, I mean, there's just, if you are, but the other nice thing is too, is you get to have lunch or even meet the collectors and the people that work in the offices. So the next time you pick up the phone or send an email, they actually know who you are and they pay attention. I mean, it's just amazing the contacts, and that's how you do it. Just like we were talking about at our main events, show up and just network with people. Tell them who you are. Stand up during the haves and wants. Hey, I'm an investor. You know, I'm new to the group. If you are, or just, you know, you just say that. Hey, I'm looking for, you know, single family houses. Hey, I'm looking for multifamily. Hey, this is what I do. I've got a business that does cleanup. I've got a good friend that does cleanup, or whatever the case may be. That's how you get in with the groups and you get in the door. You know, just bring and the thing I like to point out too, which a lot of people don't do, is people only look at it, what's in it for me, you know, because that's how we all kind of think anyway. But be a person of value. Be somebody that comes in and say, hey, you know, like Jay, hey, I loan money to people, you know, to help them for fix-ups or whatever. And I know somebody was talking about interest rates earlier. And my experience is it doesn't make any difference what the rates are. Does the deal make sense? You know, I still have a loan on the books today, even where I could refinance it. It's like 14.9% I am paying, but the deal still makes sense. It's not what the interest rate is. It's the, you know, it's the cost of doing business, and does the deal make sense? So that's something you really got to look at. Is it going to be a long-term thing? If you're borrow money for 15% over 30 years, that's what it's going to cost you. But if you pay that loan off in 15 years, it's like borrowing money at 7.5%. And you can break that on down. If you're paying 10% or 15% with a hard money lender, and you've got a 12-month contract, pay it off in half the time, and you're only paying money, you know, the money on interest on half the amount. So, I mean, you got to kind of look at it. You can play with numbers any way you want. And what my experience from even being a mortgage broker is figures lie and liars figure. So you got to look at what it is for you, because every situation is different. Does it make sense to you? And I have, like I said, I got a 14.9%. It was an adjustable rate. All my other adjustables have gone down up until the last couple of years, and then they've evened out. But I had people telling me back in 2003 and 4, yeah, this adjustable rate's good for now, but get rid of it. Well, guess what? It went down. I did not get rid of them, and I paid them off, and they kept going down every year. My payments actually went down because the rates got better. They went up the last couple of years, but are they going to go up again? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But does the deal make sense for you? So that's about all I can say about interest rates is, you know, everything's done on an individual basis, you know? So one
Yep.
size does not fit all.
Yeah, I've done that too, John. I about 25 years ago, I signed up for an adjustable. I've still got it. And like you said, it's just been in the last couple of years, the interest rate's finally gone up. Over the entire term of the mortgage, it just kept going down. Every year when they made the adjustment, it would go down. So I'm down to my last couple payments here, and you know, I forget what it is right now, because it was 6% or something like that. I'm debating. It's such a small loan balance. I'm just decided to keep it on there, and it'll have a nice long history when I finally pay it off after 30 years.
I mean, I could use myself for an example too. The owner financing we do, I do at 0% interest, but
Yeah.
it's 2.5 to 3 times whatever the retail cash price would be.
Mhm.
And the way I look, here's the way I look at it, because when we used to deal with people, we had a debt program as part of our thing we dealt with, where people couldn't get loans necessarily. They couldn't qualify till they fixed their credit or whatever. You know, if you look at it, you know, 8.5% loan over 30 years is going to cost you 2.5 times what you borrow anyway. So it doesn't matter if that's all you can qualify for at the time. You don't necessarily have to refinance. Just work it out. Get yourself an amortization schedule. And what we used to do with people is you could add, you know, $15 to $50 a month extra on to your principal, and that'll pay it off in half the time. Get your amortization schedule over 30 years, and then look at the difference. If you get the full schedule, it'll break it down interest and principal each month. Go to the very end, the 30th payment, and actually on your very first one, and pay the principal only, okay, which will be, you know, which will be maybe $15, and the interest will be, I don't know, whatever, 800 or whatever the case may be, and just start adding that $15. Next month it'll be 16. Next month it'll be 18. I mean, it just goes down like that, and you can increase what little bit you pay on a 30-year loan paid off in half the amount of time, regardless of what your interest rate says for the 30 years. It'll be like borrowing money at half the amount. And then the nice thing about setting it up for 30 years, if you do have a bad month or two or something happens, because we all have life happens, you're not obligated for that. Because what happens is a 30-year loan, if you do it the way I'm just talking about here with the principal and interest, you just add the interest each month, it will be exactly even on your 15-year payment. It will be exact. If it's 500 interest that you're starting off with, it'll be 500 interest, 500 principal at that last payment. So it evens out as you go along. That's the simplest way that we've ever found to pay off your stuff at half the amount of time without obligating yourself. So, and even if you have prepayment penalties, you know, people sometimes act like that's a big deal. The state of Missouri is only like, I think it's 3 years anyway, and it's prorated the first couple years. So anything after that doesn't make any difference. But why even do that? You don't even have to do that if you just do it the way I'm talking about. Get your amortization schedule and it evens out for you. So
Mhm.
it's
And
all
the-
your individual situation. It's not what other people tell you necessarily.
Yeah, and if you're familiar with amortization schedules, you'll know that the sooner you do that, the earlier in the loan you do it, the faster you can pay it down by paying those extra. Like John said, in the first few years, it's just going to be a little bit just extra every month, and you'll cut for every little bit extra, you'll cut off a month at the end. So you can do it at any point, but yeah, it's more fruitful at the early points in the loan when the loan balance is higher. So. Okay, well, it's coming up on noon here. Anybody else got anything for us?
I
Yeah,
got
hi.
another question. Oh, go ahead.
Okay,
Just
yeah,
real
go
quick.
ahead, Joey. Take
Hi.
it first.
Yeah, I was just gonna introduce myself. This is the first meeting I've been to, and sorry I came a little late. Had a work obligation had to take care of, but yeah, I appreciate you all doing this group, and just thought I'd introduce myself. My name's Joey Flom. I'm in the St. Louis area, and I'm interested in investing. I haven't had one rental property before, but it wasn't intentional, as you were kind of talking about before.
It happens. Yeah.
Held on to that for about 6 years. But yeah, I'm looking to build wealth and invest in certain markets. And so I appreciate y'all putting this together.
Okay, is there a certain area that you're looking for to purchase, and what kind of property? Single families or multifamilies?
Single family, multifamily, maybe like up to, I think the limit is what, like 4 before it becomes commercial, right?
Right, yeah, and you can if you don't depends on where you're living. Now you can actually live in one of the 4 units and get be the same kind of financing as your single family residence, personal residence.
Yeah, I'm looking like 1 to 4 right now.
Mhm.
Looking Chesterfield area to start with, maybe. Not sure yet. I'm really just exploring everything, and I've got my wife on board with a vacation rental, like an Airbnb, possibly
Mhm.
down maybe on the coast. But right now, yeah, we're just exploring, and I'm taking in as much information as I can from Bigger Pockets and people like y'all.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
you said, trying to make beneficial deals for everybody and understanding what people need, and making wins for everyone. That's what I'm
Mhm.
after.
Yeah, talking about Airbnbs. Yeah, we've been talking on the board, our board of directors. We're all run by our just the members itself. We're a not-for-profit, but one of the board members, the vice president now, has some short-term has done short-term rentals, and we keep talking to her. She's working on a presentation, so hopefully we'll have a presentation on short-term rentals. So if you're thinking about something like that, that would be good.
Yeah.
Good
Right now
to tap into.
I've got a pretty broad spectrum of what I'm looking at right now, and I'm trying to
Mhm.
narrow it down.
Yeah, there's a lot of options in real estate, in which you kind of got to settle in on, one thing at a time. Like you said, there's a lot
Yeah.
of different areas you could tackle, and John has been into a lot of them, and I haven't covered near as much territory as he has. I'm primarily just a buy and hold landlord, but have done
And
some tax sales then.
you guys meet once a month in person, is that right?
We have a month on the third, no, I'm sorry, it's the third, yeah, the third Tuesday of every month. We're meeting at the Shriner Center in Maryland Heights. Or Creve Coeur, it's actually Creve Coeur, right in there between Maryland Heights and Creve Coeur. But yeah, you find it on our website. Did you find us on the website or on Meetup? How'd you
I think I found y'all a meetup.
Meetup? Okay, yeah, I have those monthly educational things on Meetup also. Right now, it's just bookmarked there as an educational event. As soon as we get a big full write-up, John gets a full write-up from the speaker, we'll have the speaker's name and everything posted. So we got that coming in. So, but anyway, our website, the details are also on our website. And there's a lot more information about us at STLREIA.com is our website.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
what are you with us? Now, Eric, I'm sorry, you tried to, you got one last.
Yeah, I just got a
comment?
quick question. A while back, y'all talked about a tour bus tour of properties. Is that still ongoing, or what's going on with that?
It's been postponed right now until we get a little more definitive from the city and some of the other groups. There's a few other non-for-profit groups that we were talking about doing that in conjunction with, but it's got on a hold right now. We're going to try to get some of the properties in areas that the city is looking at wants to start instigating some rehabilitation in. But yeah, when we get that back on board, Kristen Lumen and her husband Heath have been going to those meetings. So, and when we get that going, it's on hold right now. Let's just say that. Yeah, I was looking forward to it too, but things just haven't worked out right now. Okay, anybody else got anything for us?
Lloyd?
Yes, great.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I got a email from a client. We're looking for a single family residence anywhere in St. Louis for a fix and flip, and the more work it needs, the better. So you can contact me at 314-513-1982 to let me know. I've also got my information in the chat.
Okay, yeah, I see that there. Okay, so that's one of your clients is looking for a single family fix and flip in the St. Louis area. Okay, so if somebody's got more fix and flippers than they can tackle right now, you can pass one off to Jay's client. So
Okay, Jay, you said you didn't care about the amount of work. Is there any certain dollar amounts that you're looking for? Because obviously that some need a lot more money than others.
Yeah, no money limit, as low or as costly as either works.
Okay, because the money will come from you and you got plenty. We know
that's
that.
right. I say they don't matter. Jay's running the money. They don't care how expensive it is.
I got a client that gets lots of money as well.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And Joey, just one thing, glad you're here. Welcome. And just one thing I'll just say real quick, Lloyd kind of mentioned that I've been around a long time and I take trainings, I still do on everything. And the way I kind of approach it is just act like a sponge and see what works for you and, take that in, and what doesn't, don't worry about it. And one of the things that I learn all the time, and one reason I still do this, is to learn what I don't want to do. Because a lot of this stuff I would not do again.
Right.
And in fact, that's one of the projects we're working on. I mentioned that earlier. I don't know if you were here, but if you were a landlord, and even though you were one by default, it sounded like, and that happens to a lot of people. I'm looking for people's just experiences, anything you'd like to share with me for something we're working on as your best experience and your worst experience as a landlord. And if you'd like to be part of our thing that our project we're working on, just send me an email. I put my email address in there earlier. It's ams826@yahoo.com. And if you want to get on the waiting list for the tax sale seminar next year, which I would highly recommend, just send me an email and I'll get you on the list, because we started a list the other day, and it's first come, first serve. Now that the Realtor building holds a lot of people, but it won't take much to fill up 100 or 200 people, depending on what size room we have. So that's something I would definitely get your name on the list for now. But the other thing is, watch, like Lloyd said, STLREIA.com, and look for our events. We don't always get them up there as quick as we would like to, because we do go through we do have a webmaster that does that for us, but you can tune in every Friday here. We're in our 5th year. We have not missed a Friday yet, and we don't plan on it. So
Fantastic. And I
this
appreciate
is a
the
great
welcome.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I have a question actually. The tax sale, is that like the tax lien sales? Is that what you're talking about, or?
Missouri, we're having our meeting on the 20th in person. That'll be on the tax sales in Missouri. Missouri is a mixed state, and I don't want to get into too many details because it's a little more complicated. There's only like 6 states, I think, that do it similar to what we do. The first 3 years of not paying your taxes, nothing happens to you in Missouri. After 3 years, you go to the first year tax sale. They have a first, second, and third year tax sale, which is 3 years of not paying, 4 years of not paying, and 5 years of not paying. You will get, if somebody goes and buys your property during the first or second year tax sale, which is 3 or 4 years of not paying taxes, they get a lien on your property. They cannot do nothing. After the third year tax sale, which is 5 years of back taxes, then you can get a certificate. Now, there's a lot of things. You don't just get the property like that. There's a process you have to go to. That's where you want to get inside with the insiders, which is kind of what these seminars are about. But Dale Sweet will talk a lot about the tax sales because that's what he does with quiet titles. You can't just go take over the process, and there's a lot going on, and this stuff evolves every year. Is one reason I try to stay up on it, because it's really hard to do. Then once the county takes over, now if you deal in St. Louis and Kansas City, some of the bigger areas, it's different. Okay, one of the things that I've done a lot of is I want to own the property. I've never been to a tax sale, and I've bought and sold thousands of properties for back taxes, but I deal with the counties directly. Not every county will do that. Okay, but some of them will sell over the counter after somebody has not paid taxes for 5 years or more. And this is sometimes it's many more. I've gotten properties as low as $15 that I bought a whole bunch of them in a neighborhood years ago because they were sitting on the books since like 1981 and nobody bought them after the tax sale. Every county can do what they want. In Missouri, they all beat to a different drummer, basically. So some of them will sell them for what the taxes are. Some of them will sell them for a discount. Some of them will bid them up. I mean, you'd never know. You just have to see what the process is. That's the nice thing about going to this seminar, though, because you're going to meet some of the collectors from around the state. Like I personally I bought and sold maybe 1,800 properties in Benton County, but I had never met the collector. I got to sit down and have lunch with the collector a couple weeks ago in Gladstone and got to actually talk to the guy. I found out some stuff within 5 minutes of some of these neighborhoods where I bought and sold properties that I never could find out from the homeowner association or from the people, the assistants I would talk to on the phone. So that's the kind of stuff that you will find out. Tax sales gets a little complicated, but what my personal experience is, just focus on one thing and become the best at one thing. Okay. I thought originally I was going to buy properties in all, 114 or 115 counties or whatever, jurisdictions. What I found is 5 of them was more than enough for me. And what you really want to do is narrow it down. Just be the expert in one area. I see people doing that in St. Louis too. They want to buy properties all over, and that spreads you out, which there's nothing wrong with it, but it just spreads you out. I did that myself many years ago. We had rental properties. We had them in Ferguson, Hazelwoods, city of St. Louis. We've had them in Jefferson County. I had them in St. Francis County, and a couple other places. That's way too much to keep track of personally. Okay. I found it's better off to narrow it down to one place and then become the expert there. I get phone calls all the time for neighborhoods. In fact, I got one the other day. I just haven't called back yet because I've been busy, but the guy asked me about properties in a certain area. Even the counties after a while start giving out my name and phone number, because I'll ask them, who'd you get, where'd you hear from me? Oh, Barb gave me your number. Barb, what's she doing giving out my number? She knows I'm the expert in that community. So I mean, that's just, if I could go back and do it all over again, that's all I would do is focus on one area. But the way you find that out is by being in our group. We're a nonprofit. Come here every week. You got a question. There's no such thing as a dumb question. There's no such thing as a smart question. They're just something you don't know yet, and that's all it really boils down to. But this is how you find out, by, rubbing shoulders with people that know, and we don't know everything, but we're a good source here.
Yep, and the more of these events you come to, and the more Fridays, and talk about John just mentioned buying houses in other parts of the country. We had somebody that out on the East Coast that did that, bought a package of houses, rental houses here in St. Louis, and then she came with a friend and took a look at the houses and said, "Oh my gosh, what did I get myself into?" Apparently the houses weren't what they were purported to be from the seller. And so I think she did have a friend here in St. Louis, connected her with us, saw our website and saw our networking lunch. She came, presented all the properties that she wanted to unload, which was all, I think, like 4 or 5 properties that she had. And we managed to find a buyer for all of our properties at that lunch.
Wow, that's great networking, man.
Took care of it, and that just one example of what you can find at our lunches. I actually helped my brother sell one of my brother's properties at a networking lunch when I'm a few years back. So yep, there's a lot can go on at those, and there's always a good place to sponge in the knowledge too, because
I'm soaking it up right now. That's for sure.
A number of experienced investors that are there and don't mind sharing their experience.
That's a great point too. The people investing out of area, because St. Louis area and all of Missouri looks great, and they are.
Everybody says
right?
that.
And that's how I got 9 free properties from a multi-million-dollar investor a few years ago. And one of the strategies I kind of show some people too, though, is what I do is I look at people before the tax sales, because I personally don't go to them, but I send out letters, and that's how I get my free properties. I just ask them for them, And the guy called me up. I didn't even call him back for a couple of days, this guy, and he said, well, he goes, I got this letter from you, and this deed, it says if I just get this deed notarized, you'll take this property from me. And I didn't even look it up. This was the first one I ever sent to investors. I used to avoid them and only deal with individuals. And he says, how many of these properties do you want? And I said, well, how many you got? He goes, well, I got 9 of them. And so he goes, if you send me the deeds for these things, I'll get them notarized and send them back. He did. He overnighted them to me. He printed them out. Well, it ended up, I took 7 out of the 9. 2 of them I did not take. One of them was demolished when I got there from the county of St. Louis. And the other one just had too many taxes and it was too much of a mess. But I took 7 of them. And back then, that's when I also discovered I don't have to pay everything up front. I get my end buyers to pay everything. It used to be I would pay the taxes, I would do everything, put it in my name and everything. Now I've got different techniques I use, and I actually have the new people pay them for me. The new investor pays that for me. I've even financed properties like that. So that's something you're not going to find in a book. You're not going to find that at a seminar. It's just stuff you get from trial and error. So.
Oh, I have a question. I guess you would fall in the category of wholesaling. That's what you're doing, or I'm trying to figure out all the terms and then
you can call it whatever you want. I'm just a deal maker. I mean, wholesaling, I think you should always remain a wholesaler your whole life, because once you focus and you're a specialist in an area, you're going to get people coming to you from other areas and other things. And that's the way you can wholesale it to somebody in that area. And this is how you meet them, through networking groups.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, I've already learned a lot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and John, thank you for telling us about the tax lien strategy and sales in St. Louis. Now I know how they work.
You're welcome, Jay. Yeah, St. Louis City and Kansas City are a little different than the other counties, but the principles, they still have to follow the Jones-Munger Act that everybody follows. So it's good stuff. And I highly recommend you show up on the 20th, because Dale Sweet is probably the expert in St. Louis City. He knows the city better than anybody I've ever met. And he does quiet titles all the time. Quiet title, that's another thing. We won't get in. We can get into a lot of details, which we've already gotten into a lot today. And I don't want to keep you any longer, because I know we all got stuff to do today. But that's something that you want to learn. I'm actually, my attorney that I used for many years just retired about 2 years ago. So I don't have anybody down in my area to do quiet titles. And I'm actually looking at doing my own first one by myself to see how it goes. I'm not a lawyer and I cannot practice law for anybody else. But what you can do is do stuff for yourself. Okay, so I'll let you know as that progresses. In fact, I've got a little piece of property I bought for back taxes a couple of years ago, and I'll just real quick, I'll just say this, then we'll move on and close it up, I guess. But I bought and I like oddball properties. This is one that it's real close to an intersection down here in the county where we're at now. And we go to a farmer's market that the Mennonites have, and they don't have a sign, and it's easy to pass it up. I own a piece of property that's about 70 foot wide by about 390 foot, I believe. On the one side of the highway, they need a sign right there for. They have one coming up the other side on O, but they don't have one this way. When we were buying some stuff there the other day, I just said, hey, would you be interested in getting a sign, there? And the guy was real interested. So I'm going to get a map now and take it down to him. And I'm going to see if I can't just work out a deal where they put up a sign and I get maybe some free food. I don't know, or something. I mean, I'm not really looking at doing it, and I'll just give it to him for free if that's the case. This property I bought for back taxes, which was around $300 and something a few years ago. It was off of somebody's farm right by a highway, by two of them that they just didn't pay the taxes on. I bought it over the counter for like 300 something bucks. It cost me $3.88 a year for taxes. I can keep that forever. But my original thoughts were is they could put a billboard down here. As the county grows, I might be able to put a billboard in here and then rent it to somebody. Well, in the meantime, why not give it to the Mennonites and let them put up their sign? So that's they don't have, you have to pay cash at the place. They don't have no electronic anything. And I can't just send them an email or call them up. They can't call me up. So I'm going to have to print out, I don't have a printer here at our place right now.
Oh.
So I'm going to have to maybe go to the library and print off a map and then I'll take it to them.
There you go. You might have to take it in free food or have them give you an IOU for $25 of food a month.
I don't care, and they don't have to give
No.
me anything
No,
because
I
I bought a box
Good
of tomatoes
relationship. Yeah.
for like $15, and it's a box of tomatoes like this. I could hardly carry it, So like water, they grow all their own stuff, or they trade with other people in the night and Amish community. And I didn't know anything about it till we just seen their sign and went by there, and their stuff's great. I mean, they do have homemade cookies and that breads and that stuff, but the main thing they have is very like heirloom tomatoes and, just all kinds of stuff. And, you have to pay cash, so you got to keep that in mind. Yeah, but you go in there, I'll tell you what, for $60, I can fill up the truck and we have more food than I can give away and eat in a week. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
What your deal reminded me, I was at a tax sale. I did did the ones over in Illinois for a while, and somebody bought a property. Was a little small triangle in the intersection. And so I remember somebody else said, "Why do you want that for? What are you going to do with that?" He said, "I'm going to put a sign up there." He needed a sign for his business, and it was a busy intersection apparently, and it was a triangular shape. He just bought it so he had a place to stick up a sign for his business.
See, there's so many things people don't think of too. Like even like the guy that drilled our well out here. When I first bought the property, it was I know he did a lot of stuff down this area, and he pulled it up on his phone. He goes, you know what? He goes, that's a perfect spot. You put one of them little sheds on there, you rent it for a hunting cabin, and you'll make more money in the 2 weeks during deer season than you will the rest of the year. I thought, well, I didn't even think of that. So that gave me an idea though. Some other properties, I buy a lot of building and camping lots, and with everybody was into the tiny homes, you can buy these little sheds for $2,000. And you can take a $500 piece of property and turn it into a $25,000 piece of property just by adding a shed and making it a camping lot. So, and then you can finance it for even more than that, double that over a period of whatever years for $100 a month, and you still own the property. So, there's so many different strategies that, if you go to, if you look at most traditional investors, they don't even look at that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you, I'd much rather, one reason that we got rid of pretty much all our rental properties is because of that, because I don't want the headache that goes along with that stuff is I like the owner financing properties. I want to own the stuff. I want to be the bank, and I don't want to hear from you. I got properties we haven't heard from now. I've been by the one property up here. We have our horse farm one time, and that's because I had to take pictures for the insurance, because we keep your insurance up. That's another strategy caution I won't get into today, but you keep your insurance up. But I had to get it for the pictures because Google Earth didn't show up. So I stopped by, took pictures. The place looked fine. And they've been taking care of it. Now they're in their almost 9th year now, and they still owe me $130,000, which is about what it's worth now. And I started financing it back then at about $200 more than I got for rent. So, just stuff like that, the average person just don't kind of think of. And traditional, there's a lot of good courses out there. And like I said, I recommend you being a sponge and learning all you can. Just don't do everything. One of the things for me is I still do this, learn everything I don't want to do. Because there's so many things that I wish I would not have done. I've got a couple of projects I'm working on right now that I'm not going to do again. Okay. Maybe that's a subject for my next book, what not to do in real estate.
Sure. I can write a chapter for your book too, John. I'll contribute.
Well, if you want to add to the landlord part, feel free, because I'm looking for the best stories and the worst stories.
Yeah, well, I got a couple. I was thinking about that when you mentioned that. So I made a note. I'm gonna write down a couple of my stories.
Well, and we'll all share them. This is nothing that we're looking to profit on. This is just something I'm looking to help everybody with. It's a project a couple of us are working on, and we'll share more of it as time goes on. But good stuff anyway,
Okay.
All right. We got into a lot of stuff. I
we
apologize for
did.
going over, but I'm glad you all joined us today.
Yeah, glad everybody came. Hope you come back next week, and I hope you've got August the 5th for our 11 o'clock lunch at Applebee's on your schedule. If you can make it away during the day, don't have one of those nasty things called a job, a 9 to 5 job. So come on out, join us for some little networking and breaking bread.
So it's J-O-B is a 4-letter word, right?
For a 4-letter word?
Well, pun, yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, thanks, everybody. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
thanks,
Thanks
guys.
for coming.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See
There
you
you go.
next week.
Nice to meet you.